Well, returning to the PS1, we've got a game I'm very much looking forward to. It's Alex Ferguson's Player Manager 2001. Or, if you were to buy this game outside of the UK, I believe it was called Guy Rue Player Manager. Programmed by Steve Screech. That's an interesting name, is it? What a great name that is. So yeah, let's give it a go. I love my management games. I love Football Manager and Championship Manager on the PC. But the console games were never fantastic. They were as a kid. You know, I had Premier Manager, I think it was called, on the Mega Drive, and I absolutely loved that. And of course, LMA Manager on the PS1, which we will one day get to as we make our way through the PS1 library very, very slowly because it's absolutely massive. But yeah, here we go. This is Alex Ferguson's Player Manager. So it was developed by Anko Software Limited, never heard of them, and it came out on the PS1 and the PS2 towards the end of the year 2000. So I'm expecting the clubs to be sort of the 2000 to 2001 season, and I will, if I'm allowed to pick them, be Burnley, because I am a Burnley fan, unfortunately, because this season, well, it's been absolutely shocking if I'm honest, but there we go. And if you saw at the start there, while we're waiting for it to go through all its weird crap, it was published by 3DO, so I don't know if that's the same 3DO who did the 3DO system itself. There we go, pick Burnley. Let's give it a go, let's see what we've got team-wise. Glenn Little's there, my all-time favourite Burnley player. Either Glenn Little or Robbie Blake, one or the other. So yeah, judging by the squad, it is indeed the 2000 to 2001 season. And in that season, we actually had a very good one. We'd just been promoted to what is now called the Championship, what was then called Division 1. And we finished 7th in that first season, so we did very well actually. So let's see how it goes. I will say, from a game standpoint, you know, it's very much no frills, isn't it? And from the menus and everything like that. But to be fair, this is of its time. I remember Championship Manager back in the sort of 2000, 2001 era was very similar to this in looks. So I've got no issue with that. There will be some of this loading between each section of the game because that's just the way it was. Obviously now it's still not instant, there's still them little loading areas, but it's a hell of a lot quicker than it was. No bids have been made for my players. We'll move forward. Managers are busy with their daily tasks. Yes, like recording a review of this game. So yeah, like I say, in sort of Central Europe, France, etc., it was known as Guy Rue, or Guy Rue, it might be pronounced. It's G-U-Y, but I think it's Guy, isn't it, in French? Who was, I believe, a French manager. So Alex Ferguson in the UK, of course. A man that I'm very happy to say I have actually shook the hand of. As a Burnley fan, we were playing Man United at Turf Moor. We ended up drawing actually 0-0. If any United fans remember when Angel Di Maria signed for you, it was his debut, I remember. Anyway, Alex Ferguson was outside, walking in with his entourage, and I just went up to him and said, "May I shake your hand, Sir Alex? It'd be an honour." And he went, "Not a problem, son." And he shook my hand. So, what a guy. What a guy. And it's good to see that he survived his illness. What was it? I think he might have had a brain hemorrhage or something. It was very serious. So it's good to see him looking back to full health, because I saw him recently sat in the stands at Old Trafford. Certainly getting on a bit now. I'm guessing he's probably in his 80s. I might be wrong. But certainly a legend of the sport. Must be one of, if not the greatest managers of all time. Oh, we've had a bid from Tranmere for Andy Cook. I will accept that because we actually sold Andy Cook that season to Stoke City. I remember he'd been a very good player for Burnley, but we did sell him. So being true to life, I will do the same. Back to being busy with my daily tasks, of course. So far, I'm content with it. It seems to do the job, no more, no less. It's not going to pull up any trees so far, but obviously, you know, it could change quickly when we get to the actual action. Now, it is called Player Manager, so I don't know. I would hope that means that I do get the opportunity to play, but I'm not sure. So we'll have a look. Yeah, so it is quite slow between that, but look, you cannot expect anything different. We're on the PlayStation 1 here with a pretty full-fledged management game. I don't know if it's got 3D gameplay when it comes to the matches. Back then, Championship Manager, as it was before it became Football Manager on the PC, was still 2D overhead. So I'm going to see, because as a Burnley fan, the team that I really don't like, or one of, is Preston. Let's see if we can buy one of their players. They've got a few ex-Burnley here. David Ayres, Graham Alexander would become a Burnley legend, but I'm going to go for Kurt Nogan, who was one of my favourite players as a kid, and Preston bought him off us. That was really, really sad. So let's see if I can get him back. I'll say one thing: it's very easy to pick up. It's very obvious to tell how to move around and everything like that. The menus, it's a simple game. We've got our first match against Birmingham City. Good team back then, good team. Dele Adebola and Jeff Horsfield up front. Oof, might be a tough game. Our first match at this level, and we've got, for some reason, Andy Cook and Alan Lee up front. We've got Ian Wright on the bench. Well, that's not accurate. So Burnley did sign Ian Wright, actually. We were his last club, believe it or not, and he helped us to promotion. He got some crucial goals the season before this, but he did leave that summer. He retired. So that's not accurate. I can't really downmark it for that. It probably just assumed at the time that this was released that he was going to stay with us, but he did decide to retire and instead focus on his media career, things such as doing advertisements for Chicken Tonight, if anyone remembers that. I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight. Yeah, you might remember it. Ian Wright used to sort of bounce across the screen pretending to be a chicken, and I don't think I ever actually had Chicken Tonight. I'd be interested to know what it was, really. Was it sort of tinned chicken, I think? I don't really know. I'm going to bring Ian Wright on. All this talk about Chicken Tonight has meant that I need to get him up front with Alan Lee. Let's see if we can bag a second half winner. So, as you can see, it does appear to be 2D, unfortunately, which I'm a little bit disappointed by. We're hoping the PS1 could have maybe tried to push the boat out a little bit with the match play, but it seems not, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And we are winning 2-0, as you can see. Alan Lee scored. I don't think he ever actually scored for Burnley. He was pretty useless for us. And if I remember rightly, Holdsworth, the second goal, I think he was actually a Birmingham player, so looks like an own goal. So a great 2-0 win on opening day for Burnley. We've done very well there. See, yeah, OG. We had less possession but more shots. Possession is only 9/10 of the law. It's all about the stats at the end of the day. It's all about that final full-time figure. Who cares about possession? And Preston lost as well. We're happy to see that. So yeah, very exciting opening day for Burnley in Division 1 on Alex Ferguson's Player Manager 2001. I'm alright with it so far. It's so average though, Hopefully that's coming across. Like I say, I think I have to put this up against some of the other management games that were available on this system. And LMA Manager did come out on this system, and it was excellent, absolutely excellent. It had full 3D games. It was a fantastic management game. So put up against that, which I would guess came out around the same time. It was sort of the very early 2000s, late 90s. So I don't think it's unfair to rank it against LMA Manager. It's not in that ballpark, I don't think. But it's not doing anything that's, at the same time, it's not doing anything at all that's upsetting me, you know. Okay, so we're playing Grimsby. Grimsby away is game 2. They've got Danny Coyne in goal. He would actually go on to become Burnley's goalkeeper a few years later. This is a Burnley history for you, as much as a review of Alex Ferguson's Player Manager 2001. A lot of loading screens, if you've made it this far. Oh, and it's in 3D. So yeah, the option that I chose that was different there did give me the 3D look. So I take back that criticism. I will say the big anomaly for me is where it says Player Manager. I've seen no opportunity to actually play. So why I'm called Player Manager, I don't know. I'd have to research it, but it does not appear that you can actually play the game. You are just a manager. So penalty ref? No? Okay, fine. So yeah, that's a little bit disappointing, I feel, but it's doing the job, isn't it? Some no more, no less in terms of the 3D match environment. Oh, good God, what a goal! Jack Lester, Chesterfield legend. So I'm actually married to a Chesterfield fan, so she'll be very happy to see that Jack Lester has scored in this game. Not that she'll ever watch this, of course, but there we go. Yeah, he went on to score many goals for Chesterfield. It's very slow, but you know, that's how Burnley are. So there's nothing wrong with that. Come on. I think it's quite... I've played worse looking football games on the PS1 than this. In terms of the actual football. I think sort of Adidas Power Soccer and Actua Soccer looked absolutely shocking compared to this. I think this looks better. It's a shame that you can't play it, because that'd make all the difference, I feel. So that's a shame. That's a bit of a not a doubt mark's the wrong word, but just something that I think if I'd had this game bought for me as a kid, I'd have been expecting to play the game with that title. So that's not great. Oh, what a save. I was offside anyway. So yeah, Alex Ferguson's Player Manager 2001. There was a 2002 version released a year later. I won't be trying that. I can't fathom playing multiple Alex Ferguson Player Manager titles back to back, I'm afraid. But there we go. Well, it's taking his time with this throw-in. Oh dear. We're not getting anywhere near getting back in this game. It's not bad. It's one of them things with management games I can lose. Oh, look. Okay, so you can change the camera overhead and action. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's one of these things with management games I can honestly lose absolutely weeks in them. I know that my sort of playtime, should I say, on Steam with a football management series is scary, absolutely scary. Lee Briscoe playing for Burnley. He was not a great player. It's okay. It's better than I hoped. I weren't expecting much. It's just a bit strange that it's called Player Manager when you can't actually play. That's Jesus. They hit the post. Yeah, it's a bit of false advertisement, really, because that'd be quite cool and a little bit unique. You know, in Football Manager, I don't think there's any opportunity for that, which is a bit strange. I know player managers are a bit of a rarity. It's more of a myth than anything else. We did have one at Burnley in Chris Waddle, and he was absolutely terrible, both as a player and a manager for us. But they do come about every now and then. Oh, we're through, are we? Kevin Ball. Go on, hit it! Yes, get in. Alan Lee. 2-2 for Alan Lee, and like I say, he never scored for Burnley. We'll take that as we approach half time here against Grimsby Town. And the other thing about this that has been quite good is the controls with, you know, just using the D-pad. It all works quite well. I always think strategy games and simulation type games, this type of thing, don't work very well on a console. And generally, I think in the modern era, that's because you use the thumbsticks, which just don't translate very well. I don't feel to that type of game. I've never liked playing things like Command and Conquer, etc. on console. It's just not made for it. It's for PC. But this does work well with just the D-pad. So that's quite good and surprising. Make a couple of subs. So yeah, it's okay, is what I would say. And I've not been on the PlayStation 1 games for a while. I've focused more on some of the other systems, but I just had the urge. And the next game coming up after this is one I've never heard of on the PS1, called Alfred Chicken. I mean, the title doesn't excite me, I have to say, but I go into everything with optimism and hope, so we'll see what Alfred is like. Certainly going to be a hell of a change from Alex Ferguson, I think. Having to move around the captainry. I think I subbed off my captain, so it's now not allowing me to start the game. Slightly annoying. Okay, so put it to Steve Davis. He was the captain back in the day. I have no penalty taken out. We'll just have to move all of them up, shall we? A little bit irritating. We'll make Ian Wright the penalty taker, because I think Ian Wright's safe as houses if we're taking a penalty, isn't he? That's the way I'd like to feel. Yeah, I do love the PlayStation 1. Very happy to be going through the games on there. I can't think of many that begin with A, apart from Ape Escape, that I love though. Azure Dreams, that's one. Struggling after that. Of course, if we're on Alex Ferguson Player Manager, I'm thinking that Alien Trilogy will be coming up soon, and that was a good game. Very diverse library of games, and I preferred it to the PlayStation 2, I have to say. The PS2, obviously, it looked so much better, but I don't know, there's not that many games on the system that I love on the PS2. Obviously, you've got the Grand Theft Autos, you've got Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. I didn't think that much of Final Fantasy 10 and 12 on there. It weren't a console that I adored. It's probably my least favourite PlayStation. PS1's right up there for me. It was, and still is to me, just a magical system. It's got some great games on it. Alex Ferguson's Player Manager might not be on, one of those, but it speaks to the breadth of the games on there, that we have all the management games that we do. So yeah, I think we've probably seen enough. I mean, we don't need to see more of Burnley v Grimsby to come to a conclusion on this. And I think Alex Ferguson's Player Manager 2001, what can I say? Oh, go on. Nope. What a weird choice that header was. It does the job absolutely fine. It's very average, but there are far worse management games. considering the system it's on, it does the job to a acceptable standard.